Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tori and today we are setting up my bullet journal for the month of March. I am doing a space slash galaxy type theme this month, following the monthly challenge theme thing from Jess or Joshi Corin. And I will link her video with her March setup and her Discord down below if you are interested in seeing anything related to this. I thought it would be really fun to do this theme because I haven't actually done a galaxy or moon or any kind of theme like this in my bullet journal. I do them every July in my reading journal, but I haven't yet done one in a bullet journal. So I wanted to participate this month to do this theme for March. I'm using a lot of printables for my spreads today, and I cannot for the life of me remember the names of the Etsy shops that I purchased these from, but I will have them linked down in the description box for you if you're interested in checking them out. All of the space themed printables that I will be using came from one Etsy shop, and then the kind of scripty paper came from another Etsy shop. I think that one was Ink and Pages, but I can't remember the one for the space printables. That Etsy shop had only had like 20 sales or something like that. So I think it's like a newer Etsy shop or a smaller Etsy shop. But like I said, I'm getting like rambly here. I will link both Etsy shops below that I purchased these printables from if you're interested in checking those out. These space ones were like a junk journal type printable. So they're very meant to look like super layered and everything like that. So I didn't have to do too much layering of things to make it look any busier, but I did want to mix these two papers together. So this paper that I just cut up here is that script paper that I was just speaking about. I'm going to layer that on either side of this junk journal printable, but I'm going to add some plain black washi in between both of these pattern papers, just so that it's like so they don't blend into each other. I wanted to have a little bit of distinction between the script paper and the actual junk journal paper. So I thought that just some plain black washi would be super helpful to get that effect, and I think that it did work out quite well. Because I am going to end up doing so much paper layering in this setup, these pages are so thick. It was a little bit surprising to me after I finished the setup how thick they were, though I guess technically it shouldn't have been super surprising since I did tape so much paper and washi tape together to set everything up. So that's neither here nor there though. For my actual title, I'm going to be using the Julietta alphabet dies from Pink Fresh Studio. I do not think that these alphabet dies are available any longer. I'm pretty sure that I got them on clearance, but I can't remember, and it was several years ago, so I don't think that they're available, but I will check Pink Fresh Studio website and see if they are, and if they are, I will link those below. But the way that I'm going to be using these alphabet dies is I'm taking a black Copic marker and then I'm just very loosely scribbling on some scrap sticker paper that I have. And I'm scribbling very loosely so that I have a little bit of variation and discoloration in my black Copic alcohol marker. And I'm then going to use my alphabet dies to cut out the letters that spell out March. I do end up doing this in my March Hobonichi setup as well. And I'll talk about that as well in that video too. I filmed this video after I did that one, so it'll be like two videos where I'm doing this in the same week. But it's a really fun technique, and I did use a different set of alphabet dies for that one as well. So you can see here that I'm just using a um, Sizzix Sidekick mini die cutting machine. I'm using that to cut out these letters. It's one of my favorite and probably most used crafting tools because a lot of my dies are fairly small and I use them for all sorts of random things that have nothing to do with scrapbooking. Um, but I love it, and I love using them for things like this, to just cut out some sticker paper and essentially make my own stickers. This is a great way as well for if you like to use like letter stickers, like normal letter stickers. Using alphabet dies just on sticker paper is another really good way to kind of get that same look, but have a reusable aspect for that as well. So I've got all of everything kind of trimmed out here using that mini die cut machine, and I'm going to place my March title right in that like left-hand side of my paper, or the junk journal paper had just like a very like a perfect spot for a title in my opinion. So I'm going to do a vertical title going top to bottom. And I'm just going to use some tweezers and peel the backing of the sticker paper off and get these stuck down. This specific die actually had lines in the, like, inside the words, like inline lines. I'm not sure what that's called. But it was a little bit difficult to get the backing off of these just because the words, the letters weren't like perfectly attached the whole way. So I do really like the way that it looked, and I thought the little diamonds that were in these letters would be perfect for like a space type theme. I'm also pulling out some additional moon washi tape from Paper Monogatari, and I'm going to use that to just kind of tone the spread down a little bit. It is adding some additional kind of imagery to the spread, but the black of the washi tape, I think, kind of just tones everything down just a bit, and I really like that. And we're now moved on to my calendar spread. I am going to be doing a very simple calendar layout, kind of, I guess. Maybe the spread itself's not simple, but the calendar is. I'm just doing just regular lines. I'm not using a ruler for these, so I'm going to outline the very outside of the calendar with another line to give the kind of double lined look so that it just gives the illusion that the messiness was intended. I also have these letter stamps that I got when I very first started journaling, probably from either like Michael's or Joann's. I have no idea where I got these from. And there's not like a name on them. I think it said Stampabilities, and I don't know who sells those. So I probably won't be able to link these, but I've had them for ages. I used them in my very first ever reading journal setup. So I thought I'd pull these out because it very much fit like the space vibe to me. So I'm using that to stamp out this month. And then I will use my Tombow 990 dual brush pen to just highlight the first row of each of my calendar boxes so that I can write the number for each day of the month in here. I didn't want to have a full like 6-week calendar, so I just threw the 31st at the very top on that same row that's going to hold my first and second of the month. Now, for my decoration on this page, I'm not actually going to use any of the planet or galaxy printables. I'm just going to stick with the script paper and then the black washi tape. And then I'm also going to use a couple stickers that I received in a notebook therapy washi tape set. I had actually originally purchased the washi tape just to do this setup, but with the way things kind of worked out and me finding the printables that I ended up using, I didn't feel like the washi tape that I purchased actually really went with everything. So I didn't end up using it. It felt like it would have been too overwhelmingly cluttered, in my opinion. So I decided to bypass that, and I'll probably use it in my July reading journal setup instead. But that washi tape sticker set, and I will link that down below if it's still available for you as well. That particular one came with 3 little mini sheets of washi stickers. And there is one of the sheets have all of the phases of the moon on it. And I'm going to line all of those across the top of my page and then add a line of the paper monogatari moon phases washi at the very bottom as well, all the way across my page. I believe that that's really all I do after I get these papers down, is just add those few washi stickers and then kind of add that washi tape, and then we move right along to the next page. While I am working on that, I would love to know if there are any themes that you would like to see from me, bullet journal wise or reading journal wise. Let me know down in the comments below. I have been so uninspired lately, which is why I jumped on this challenge here, because it felt like the theme was already decided for me. So I had a bit easier of a time kind of figuring out what to do once I had a theme idea to plan off of. So if you would like to see me attempt any themes for my bullet journal or my reading journal, let me know down in the comments, and I will probably end up doing that because, like I said, I've been having just not a fun time trying to think of themes lately. Hopefully, it's just a small period of time that will pass very quickly. I will say I do still want to do a blueberry theme, and I actually have now a stamp and die set that I can use for that. So I might still do that sometime soon, but I think I want to wait a little bit closer until summertime because that feels more of like a right time for blueberries for me, though I don't actually know when you can harvest blueberries. If you know that, let me know down in the comments below. So again, this is going to be all I do for my calendar page or spread, and then we will move right along to my orders and currently pages. Since these 2 sets of pages, my calendar page and my orders and my currently page, since they generally house quite a lot of information, I don't tend to try and like overfill those pages. So this one will have again a little bit more simple of a decorative side. So I just ripped off a big chunk of that script paper and I'm going to place that going diagonally down my page. It's going to cover my orders page and then go just a little bit into my actual currently's page, and then I will use that same moon phase washi and I'm going to kind of add a line of it, essentially doing the same thing. It's going to spread across the bottom of my currently's page and then just go a little bit into my orders page as well, to just to kind of balance both pages out. Once I do that, I will go to the front of my journal and grab my grid spacing guide. Now, for transparency purposes, this grid spacing guide was actually the grid spacing guide that I made for my B6 bullet journal last year. And this is not a B6. It's like in between a B6 and an A5. It's like a small A5, I think, is what most places call it. So this grid spacing guide is not accurate, but I've noticed that there's just, I think, 1 or 2 dot grid spaces that are outside of the grid spacing guide that I already have. So I can still use it to kind of find the center of my page, which is what I was just using it to do there. I'm just going to create 4 boxes on this currently's page, and I'm going to write, I believe I do this off camera, but 1 box will be for what I'm reading for the month of March, 1 for what I'm playing, any games that I'm playing, any songs or sounds that I'm listening to will be the last box. And then I will also do a watching box, so any shows or movies that I'm currently watching. And I have already filled in a show and a sound or song or whatever, what a listening I'm currently watching the show Ghosts, and I have been listening to rain and fireplace sounds on YouTube, just essentially nonstop. So I am using my listening box to also put in like sounds that I listen to and not just music. And I've liked looking back on that to kind of see what specifically is in there. I'm going to be using those same alphabet stamps to type out my titles. So for my orders page and my currently's page. And then once I finish getting these stamped out, I will just use my Pigma Micron to just add a double wavy imperfect line underneath my orders section title. For all of the line work that I've been doing in this particular setup, I have been using a Pigma Micron in size 01 in black. And then, as I usually end up doing almost always in my videos, I'm just kind of flipping back through to see how I am liking everything. For these last two pages, I am going to be using another one of the junk journal printable pages. I am using this particular page because I thought it would be fun to put my calendar boxes in like these big like strips of paper that were on the left hand side. I still don't have anything really that I need to put in for that final page, but I don't like to start my weekly or my daily like to-do lists or daily logs immediately within my setup. I like to do it on the next page over. So what I'll end up doing with that last piece of paper is getting that taped down, and I'm actually just going to stamp half of a quote in that planet. I believe that's supposed to be Saturn. I'm not sure. But I will stamp half of a quote that I found online just inside that planet. So I'm doing the same thing with this one that I did on my very first spread, because when I sized these down so that they were just a little bit taller than my actual page length, they were too short width-wise. Which wasn't a problem for me because I had already planned to kind of layer another piece of paper over it anyways. So it kind of worked out perfectly because a lot of the character around the edges of these printables I really liked, and I didn't want to lose it if I could help it. And because of the way that I sized them down, I kind of got to do all of the things that I wanted to do, which was great. So again, I'm doing the exact same thing that I just did on that first spread. I'm using that black MT washi tape to create kind of like a nice black breakup between the two patterned papers. And then I will tape down my script paper as well. I really like this script paper, and I definitely think that I will get a lot of use out of it. And I'm super happy that I have it as a printable because that means I can print it as many times as I want. I printed all of these papers on just regular copy paper. And I did that because I didn't want the paper itself to be super, super thick. So because it's on just regular copy paper, the quality of the print doesn't look like fantastic. But because it's a junk journaling page, it's not meant to look fantastic. So that again also just works out perfectly. I'm going to use the rest of these craft calendar stickers that I have. The last couple of months I've been doing 6 habit tracker boxes, but I only have 4 left. So you'll see me tapping my paper here a couple of times where I'm just like thinking to myself that I'll have to make some more of these so I can have 2 more calendars. But I haven't actually decided if I want to do 6 habits or if I just want to stick with 4 this month. So that's still undecided and a little bit up in the air. I grabbed a scrap piece of craft dot grid paper to stamp out my page title on, which is just going to say habits. The actual paper itself, because there's so much distressing in all of the light spots, I felt would be a little bit too hard to actually see the page title. So I just grabbed a scrap piece of craft paper so that I could stamp that out. Once I've got that stamped out, I will pull out a quote essentially. And I don't remember what the rest of the quote said, and the quote that I found didn't have like who said it. But I really liked the second half of it that just said, "The moon knows all my secrets." And that just fit. That felt really like accurate to me. So I wanted to put that here in this planet. I know it's not a moon, but it's in space and there's lots of moons all over anyways. So I thought it was fine. It doesn't bother me that I didn't stamp it in a moon. Not that I needed to stamp it in a moon, but just in case. I don't know. But I really liked that quote, so I'm stamping that here in this planet. And then the last thing that I will do before we jump into my final flip through is just use the rest of one of these little washi sheets from the Notebook Therapy washi sticker set or washi tape set. And I'll just sprinkle those around just to add a little bit more to the page. Not that it needs any more, but I'm going to add it anyways. And then we will jump into my final flip through. I would love to know your thoughts on my setup this month down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.